Hello guys, Vladimir the Bulgarian Cowboy Vlad speaking. It's now time to get underway and to see what could we say about this Eagle FC upcoming picks and predictions. And I have a feeling that this Eagle FC event might bring some good and bad things as always, but I'm kind of looking forward to it as now Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez. That's gonna be pretty much fun. Just 1 second, I'll get back very swiftly. All right, guys. Just to tell you, like this Eagle FC gonna be. Well, I'm pretty much looking forward to it as it's pretty much gonna be lovely weekend. So, but I'll stay loyal to UFC as always. But I'm gonna give predictions for my lovely diehard fans, and let's ride on a roll and let's go. Manny Vowel versus Ryder Newman is gonna be the first one. Emmanuel Vowel minus 135, Ryder Newman plus 105. Let me see, Manny Vowel 14-4-1. Jersey City, New Jersey, Renzo Gracie Academy. I know right off the bat what is this guy doing. Yeah. Decision, grappling. Yeah, this guy is CFFC. Yes, I remember this guy. Great ground control, good TKO ability to finish people on the ground. Yeah, stand-up is his weakness, but very hard to knock him out. Ryder Newman at 6'0", out of Extreme Couture. This guy knows to wrestle too. Defeated Isaiah Warner. I lost to Trishon Gore. Kind of hard to pick. I guess the line should be very close. Emmanuel Vowel, Ryder Newman. Yeah, Vowel is a slight favorite, which is kind of expected. Hey, Kirby. Let's say Vowel to win plus for minus 135. Or maybe, the fight goes the distance. Vowel versus Newman. That's gonna be my backup pick. Then we're going Caio Uruguay versus Sitik Muduev. Sitik Muduev? He's fighting? Didn't know Sitik Muduev is fighting. Caio Uruguay minus 122, Sitik Muduev minus 108. Alright, this is a real toss-up fight, just as expected. Caio Uruguay, 8'4", 5'10", 71 inches of reach out of Brasilia. Trains at Sanford MMA. Yeah, I remember when he lost to Kyle Bochniak, ex-MMA one, MMA Holzer, my friends. He defeated Kalata Samuel. I remember, I watched those fights. Defeated Bruce Middle in kickboxing. This guy knows more than just, he knows to strike. Great kicking. Whoa, this guy is also a kickboxer. Caio Uruguay. Yeah, I haven't noticed much of a kickboxing against Kalata Samuel. Sitik Muduev 930. Fighting out of Russia. I don't know much about this guy. I just remember he lost to Yadim Dedin. That's one of the only fight I remember. I didn't watch him against Frank Buenafuente. Didn't watch that CFFC fight. But it seems the line is very close, so not much info about this guy. I'm gonna go with Caio Uruguay to win. Caio Uruguay to win. Caio Uruguay to win. How much is the line? Caio Uruguay minus 122. Okay, slight favorite. Slight favorite. I agree with the line. That should be like okay line, if you ask me. So the next line The next line I'm gonna look for. Just 1 second. Sorry, 1 second. Here are my minutes. Sorry, I always forget to take meds, so please, sorry guys, it was unintentional. Then the next one is the next matchup is going to be the battle between Thomas Webb and Tyler Ray. Tyler the Wolverine Ray, 9-0, 6'0", 75 inches of reach out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Sanford MMA fighter. Oh, these Sanford MMA guys are tough, and this guy knows to choke people out. Ex-MMA, he competed there. Also outworked Ernesto Ancona at LFA 108. High quality ground fighter, I can say that. Gonna meet Thomas Webb, 16'7", 5'10", 75 inches of reach. Tyler Ray isn't gonna have any kind of a reach advantage here, and on the other side, Webb lost to Babit Nazarov, but he defeated Ray Trujillo, Omar Johnson, Kenny Gaudreau, and throughout his stage, he was always fighting at minor promotions, so his experience is going to come to challenge against Tyler Ray. And I think I'm going to go with Tyler Ray here. Definitely going to go with Tyler Ray. I think Thomas Webb doesn't have that level of experience. So Tyler Ray to win, minus 585. That sounds like a decent pick to me from what I'm watching. Next one, Reggie Pena gonna meet Ronnie Marques. Ronnie Marques was having so many ups and downs throughout his career. He is a top-notch grappler. As well as you know, he really is a top-notch grappler, that guy. His grappling is really, really out of this world. But from what I've seen, one problem with Ronnie Marques is the fact that the difference between his grappling and striking is very, very big. And Reggie Pena, the regulator, 6'0", 74 inches of reach, also out of Florida. He lost to Lorenzo Hunt. Yes, I remember this guy. But he is also not bad on the ground. I don't even know why he accepted to fight in bare knuckle. I remember that fight, but I was very much surprised. Ronnie Marques, 21-9-0. He has high level of experience, 6'1", 74.5 inches of reach. Marques is a tough guy to deal with. But I'm telling you, his striking is not the greatest, but his ground game, believe me, if this guy grabs you and gets a hold of you on the ground, you're pretty much fucked up. He took part at so many grappling tournaments, also the former PFL fighter. A lot of experience coming up. Reggie Pena knows to defend submissions, and it's true that Marques had some submission losses, but those submission losses came, for example, from Casio de Oliveira and from Viktor Nemkov, who are one of the greatest fighters on this planet. So he also choked out Tony Lopez. He was able to choke out Joel Warren, Victor Jones, Rodrigo Duarte. This is a tough fight to pick. Very much a tough fight to pick for me. I'm gonna have to look at the odds. Hold on, I'm looking these odds, but god damn it, where are the odds for these two guys? Reggie Pena, slight underdog. Ronnie Marques for minus 215, but I'm not sure about this one. No, I'm really not sure about this one, as Ronnie Marques is going to have a problem if he doesn't win early in the game. Especially in round 3, he might start slowing down, so I'm not pretty much confident about this one. I like Peña versus Marquez. No distance. I like no distance really much. Next fight, Archie Colgan versus Dylan Mantello. Archie Colgan, I had interview with the guy. King is 3-0, 5'8", 69.5 inches of reach. Comes out of wrestling, but he's a heck of a striker. He destroyed Andrew Claiborne, Kate Fatem, Ben Simons, slam to ground strikes. He really destroyed Ben Simons at his Bellator outing. I'm gonna meet Dylan the Quiet Man Mantello, 4'10", 6'1", out of Bayshore, New York. Longo Widman fighter. Oh, Longo Widman fighter. This guy knows to strike. This is going to be a dangerous opponent for Archie Colgan, but I believe Archie Colgan is gonna out-wrestle this guy. Plus, I believe Archie Colgan's submission defense is really on point, so picking Colgan to win. Colgan to win for... How much is on Colgan? Minus 485. Or additional Colgan Colgan inside the distance. If your bookies allow, my bookie doesn't allow that, so and it kind of sucks, but I mean, it is what it is. There are some things you can't affect that are not gonna take place, right? So that's something I'm really trying to pinpoint too. So the next battle that I'm going to analyze is Irvin Rivera and Firdevs Kasanov. Irvin Rivera, the Beast, 10-6-0. He is a very controversial bantamweight fighter. You know, he took part in that great outing against Andre Ewell, but he is also known for, you know, some stuff outside of the octagon. I don't want to throw shade all over his name, so I mean, you know how it looks like, right? I have my own reasons because I don't want to do it. This guy is fighting out of Boca Raton, Florida, trains in Black Zillions. He lost to Giga Chikadze and Andre Ewell via decision, but he outworked Ali Al-Qaisi. Then he destroyed Denis Sabatello, Matt Wagi, excellent striker, really excellent striker, super hard to finish. The guy has a wonderful, wonderful chin. At Combate, he showed that Steven Peterson barely defeated him. Extremely tough fighter, and I think Firdevs Kasanov took more than he can chew in this match. This guy out of Dubai, riding on a very cold streak with 3 back-to-back wins to Rodrigo Praya, Nurbek Bolotbekov, and Sean Bunch. I think Irvin Rivera gets this done. So to see Irvin Rivera, I know he gets back after problems, etc., but he is the former UFC fighter and he gave Andre Ewell a hard time. He can parry wrestlers, so Irvin Rivera for a minus 132 is my pick on this one. I just think Kasanov is not good enough to deal with that guy. Next one is Ikram Aliskerov versus Nashon Burrell. Ikram Aliskerov, 11-10, 6'0", combat sambo fighter. He Kimura Admiro Jurkovic. He was better than Denis Tiuliunin, better than Diego Gonzalez. Lost to Hamzat Chimaev via uppercut. Interestingly, Hamzat Chimaev knocked this guy out too, but he was so dominant at Brave CF. Literally destroyed everybody along the way. Also at Fight Nights Global was super, super dominant. Nashon Burrell, 19-10, 6'1", 71 inches of reach. Burrell, he has 11 losses, but these losses came to Arbio Guev, Albert Umanov, Veselin Saev. The guy was losing to really, really good fighters. Lyman Good, for example. Michael Page at Bellator, Andrei Koreshkov. He also competed at UFC where he lost to Steven Thompson and defeated Yuri Villavort. So, yeah, also lost to Chris Curtis. I mean, all of his losses are to great names, and we can argue about Ikram Aliskerov's shape. For me, Miro Jurkovic is not a fighter at all. He is not a fighter to be compared with. There's no chance. I mean, if you say I defeated Miro Jurkovic, that's I'm just not gonna bite. Simply, I'm not gonna bite, as I believe you need more serious fighters, more serious opponents if you want to prove your value. So, Aliskerov is a favorite. First pick, Aliskerov versus Nashon Burrell. No distance is the first pick. Second, Nashon to win. For plus 165. I'm picking the underdog here. So, yeah, I'm picking the underdog here. Like, have a feeling that underdog could pull this out. So, yeah, I do have a feeling that underdog could pull this out. Now, let's see the next one. Ahmed Ali is going to meet Daryl Horcher. Whoa, this is gonna be a slaughterhouse, man. This is gonna be a great matchup. So much impressed. Ahmed Ali is a heavy favorite, as expected. Ahmed Ali 27-0, Butcher, 5'8", 72 inches of reach. Eagles MMA Academy, lost to Roy Krachkhabov and Nathan Schulte, lost to Chris Wade, a former PFL name. He was better than Carlos Silva, Rashid Magomedov, Mikhail Odintsov. He destroyed Magomed Saigid. Alibekov, a spinning wheel kick. The guy knows to wrestle, knows to strike. I think he's a very hard opponent to deal with. Daryl Horcher, 14'5", the Saint, 5'10", 72 inches of reach, out of Pennsylvania. At PFL, he lost to Olivier Yobin Monsieur, destroyed Vadim Ogar at CFFC 91, lost to at UF 28, lost to Roosevelt Roberts. And he also fought in UFC. I remember the guy. I remember when he defeated Devin Powell, lost to Khabib Nurmagomedov, Scott Holtzman. I mean, the guy has a great experience and also CFFC career. So I think the line is kind of too wide, if you know what I mean. Aliev is very much overrated in this fight. I even dare to say Aliev versus Horcher. The fight starts around 3. I think that could be also a good pick, but I'd say Aliev to win, but I disagree with the line. Minus 385 is too much. Really too much for me. I mean, that line makes no sense, right? That line really much makes no sense. To me, at least. I don't say this is terrible line, but I'm showing disagreement with the line, as Daryl Horcher is a former UFC name, which means they're pretty much underestimating the guy. That is not okay, according to my mind. That's pretty much not okay. The guy, I mean, he's not that bad fighter. I consider him a good fighter. I really don't consider him a bum. And it seems bookies don't give him big chances, which is kind of... I think he could pull this out if he fights wisely, but let's see. Dan Raymond and Magomed Aliyev gonna meet Impa Kasangane. This is the greatest toss-up for me on the whole card, if you ask me. Raymond Magomed Aliyev 9-1-0, 6'1". This guy defeated Anthony Njokuani, and at one championship he was having great results with victories over Joy Pirotti, Edson Marquez, Tyler Maguire, and lost to James Nakashima, which means he's having a hard time against good wrestlers. Impa Kasangane is not an easy guy to knock out. 9-2-0, 5'11", 75 inches of reach for Impa Kasangane. He fought in UFC and he choked out Sasha Palatnikov, but lost to Carlston Harris and Joaquin Buckley. Interestingly, he was knocked out on both occasions. Very much vulnerable to right hook, but The way I see it, Magomed Ali will not try to trade barbs with Impa Kasangane, and Kasangane's wrestling is not bad at all. I mean, you can argue that Kasangane's wrestling is not on point when it comes to comparison to Magomed Ali, but I think Kasangane actually progressed a lot. And I think also Magomed Aliyev can show good punches, but Kasangane is vulnerable to big right hand, which might actually create some problems to Impa. Yeah, Impa got cut. I think 3 weeks ago. 2-3 weeks ago, Impa was cut. Yeah, it's like pretty much old school, you know. There are like 2-3 weeks, but thanks God he got the chance to fight again. And I think Magomed Ali is just an opponent Impa needs. He's the type of the opponent Impa needs. The guy with very much good wrestling, and Impa offers good wrestling, good grappling. So let me see. Magomed Ali versus Kasangane. Could go the distance, but of course I must pick a side, so Kasangane to win. Let me see, Kasangane to win. How much is odd? +125, worth to try. But this is the greatest toss-up on the whole card, a real toss-up, and yeah, they let Michael Gilmore fight Brahimaj. Anyway, what's gonna happen with Michael Gilmore? Is he gonna get cut or after that loss? What do you think? Then Henderson Ferreira is meeting Zach Usola. Henderson Ferreira, boy the idol, 17-3-1, 6'0", 74 inches of reach, excellent Brazilian fighter. At United Arab Emirates Warriors, he dominated on the ground. At PFL, he destroyed Bojan Veličković. Was better than Rick Story, Paul Bradley. Lost to Ray Cooper III and David Miku. Also defeated Ricky Carvalho. At United Arab Emirates Warriors, he was so dominant. This guy is a master of ground fighting. And interestingly, he lost to Cooper and Miku on the ground, but his ground fighting simply rocks, and his submission game is pretty much on point. I mean, he's more of a puncher on the ground, but his submission game, especially defensive submission game, not bad at all. His striking is not the best. I mean, he also defeated Rick Story. I mean, broken arm, when I remember that, and also one win over Ray Cooper III. Very tough guy to deal with. Zach Usola, 12'8", 6'2", 74.5 inches of reach. Zach Usola, according to my mind, comes out of Extreme Couture, and we mustn't ignore his ground skills. At XMMA, he scored a great victory over Jeremiah Scott, lost to Anthony Romero at LFA, lost to Tristan Connelly. These are losses to UFC level names, also lost to Magdi Baghdad. Yeah, I remember that at RFA, I watched that fight. These are not losses to bad guys. But Usola should be the underdog in this fight. I must check this out. Yes, Henderson Ferreira is a heavy favorite, as expected. Ferreira to win. -655. I think I think the line is wrong. Yes, Impa is very underrated. Yes, he can. I'm telling you. I think Impa is going to like this kind of the opponent. I think actually Raymond Magomedaliev is a dream opponent for him. I really think that's a dream opponent for him, and I think that's going to be really, really great. I think that's going to be really, really great for him to fight this type of the opponent, as it's going to rock his self-confidence too. So I do think fighting this type of the opponent absolutely makes sense for him. So for me, I don't consider this a wrong decision. I actually consider this a very, very, very much decision on point, if you know what I mean. And I think pairing is okay to some point, but Ray Borg, Ricky Bandejas, for me, is a mismatch. I'm not the greatest fan of Ray Borg, and you know that very well, because he was missing Wayne in the past, and I don't like fighters who miss Wayne too many times. You know that very well. But no. His skills are still good. He is not that bad. He is pretty much good fighter, you know. Just to edit description. Okay, I edited description. I think Ray Borg is a heavy favorite against Ricky Van Dejas. Anything aside of Ray Borg's victory would have been a great surprise. When I look how easily he outworked Cody Gibson, I picked Gibson in that fight. He lost to Ricky Simon via close split decision, and when he moved one division up, he was still making good results. But I think Ray Borg was having too many issues in his life, and that ruined his UFC legacy. He could have been a champ. 15-6-0 for Ricky Van Dejas, 5'10", 70 inches of reach. Ricky Van Dejas gonna have an obsolete reach advantage, 7 inches of reach advantage, but it's gonna be very hard to keep the fight standing. At Combate, he lost to Kevin Cordero, which kind of worries me. Defeated Alan Cantu Garcia, Terry Bartholomew. Lost to Leandro Higo, Sergio Pettis at Bellator. Defeated France Molambo and Ahmed Kairetli, but his losses came to big level names. But it's not easy to knock out Ray Borg, and I don't see him as a guy who's gonna submit Ray Borg. So I don't see Ray Borg getting knocked out. Even Dustin Ortiz was unable to knock him out cold. That guy has a chin. His chin hasn't been wasted. I think Ray Borg gonna be a favorite in this match. Massive favorite. Yes, as expected. Ray Borg to win. -710. I was thinking that Irvin Rivera is arrested too. I don't know. Maybe he's not in prison anymore. I really don't know. I was a bit surprised when I've seen his name at Eagle FC. I thought the same, but it seems maybe something, I don't know, maybe something happened. Maybe something happened in the meantime, I don't know. I mean, God knows what could have happened, so you just... I don't know what to say, honestly, about that one. I just have a feeling... Actually, I don't know. I will skip that comment. Then Rizvan Kunyev is fighting for the title, 11-1, 6'4", 76 inches of reach. Wushu Sanda fighter. At Contender Series, he destroyed Eddie Van Santos. At TFC, he was better than Vladimir Daneko, but these promotions for me, he lost to Darko Stosic, lost to Justin Willis. I don't see this guy. I mean, he hasn't lost for a while, but I don't see him as a high-level fighter. But even his opponent, Anthony Fried Train Hamilton, 18-10-0. Oh, man, Anthony Hamilton. 6'5" and 76 inches of reach. I remember that guy, man. I remember that guy, Anthony Hamilton. That name is very, very much known to me. Interestingly, he lost to Vladimir Daneko. But in his early stages, that name was very known in the UFC. Alexei Olenik, Todd Duffy, Shamil Abdurakimov, Omiel Enchuk, Ruan Potts, Francis Ngannou, Marcel Fortuna, Daniel Spitz, Adam Wiczorek. He was a part of the strongest promotion in the world for a very long period of time, and he left an undeletable trail there. But Anthony Hamilton is 41 years old now, and maybe this is his last chance to win something. They gave him 28-year-old Wolf, but for me, Rizvan Kunyev is not some, not the greatest fighter on the planet, if you know what I mean. Like, really. They could have given him a better fighter if they wanted to, but still Kunyev is a heavy favorite. Hamilton is out of his prime. Yes, very strange he's allowed to compete with mental health issues. Anthony Hamilton got knocked out by middleweight jiu-jitsu guy on short notice. Yes, I remember that. I know. Hamilton way out of prime. So Kunyev to win. I'm actually a big fan of Anthony Hamilton or Hamilton versus Kunyev. No distance. Listen, I'm gonna tell you one thing. For example, I also have mental issues, but I'm taking my meds and everything is fine. So, listen, if you take meds on a regular basis, your mental issues can be controlled, even if you take repeated blows to the head. So, I'm telling you what my doctor told me. So, if my doctor is lying, I'm lying too. But if you take meds on a regular basis, it can be under control. So, I mean, everything can be under control if you listen to your doctor. This is the part of this is the part of the experience I faced, and the part of the experience I've seen on my own skin. So I really think that if he started to listen to pieces of advice from his doctor, that he could get back on the right track. This is my opinion. I mean, meds exist for a reason, doctors too. Yes, very true. Meds do help control, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when you see me, you probably think that I don't react, that I'm too like this, etc. But I don't show much of the emotions because of meds. Because of those meds inhibit my emotions, my reactions, and that inhibits hallucinations. So people think that I'm like a zombie from time to time, but I understand them. I mean, these meds are slowing down some processes, but that's how it works. So yeah, they do help control. Now to analyze the main event, Kevin Lee, 18-7-0. I mean, there's no need to talk about these two guys. Everybody knows Kevin Lee and Diego Sanchez, the former UFC guys. 5'9", 77 inches for Kevin Lee, welterweight. I hope this guy not gonna miss the scale. That's what I am hoping for. He lost to Charles Oliveira, Daniel Rodriguez, Rafael Dos Anjos, Ali Quinta, but he destroyed Gregor Gillespie via overhand right to head kick, which was a massive upset to me. But he has so many losses in the UFC. Diego Sanchez, 30-13-0. Oh, Diego Sanchez, 40 years of age, 5'10", 72 inches. Unfortunately, he is only a shade of that previous version of Diego Sanchez. He earned a lot of money, but interestingly, against Michel Pereira, he won due to an illegal knee, but losses to Jake Matthews, Michael Chiesa, Matt Brown, Ale Quinta. Those are surprising victories over Mickey Hall and Craig White. That's not the Diego Sanchez we got used to watch. Diego used to be one of the most hardcore fighters to ever participate in this sport, and I remember his debut at TUF Season 1. I remember when he defeated Josh Koscheck, it was back in 2004. I still remember that. Do you believe that I still remember his first fight? I watched it, believe it or not, yesterday. And this was a totally different Diego Sanchez. Mighty Mouse versus Moreno, who win? I would give advantage to Mighty Mouse. It's cool that you don't have a problem talking about your mental issues. No, I don't have a problem. Doctor told me that if I hide that, it's gonna get worse. So doctor told me if you talk about it, it's okay. And I'm trying to listen to my doctor, so I assume my doctor knows it better than me. I would say Mighty Mouse to win. Also, Kevin Lee versus Diego Sanchez. Unfortunately, this is a mismatch to me. I see Kevin Lee winning pretty much easily, unless they have some kind of a different deal. So, -8-1-0, Kevin Lee to win. Kevin Lee to win. I don't see any other potential outcome. And yeah, just to add something, give me 1 second, please. Then chit chat, my fans. Yeah. Okay, we can do a normal chit chat now. Exactly, I do the same. Keep strong. Yeah, exactly. I'm live for 25 more minutes, so ask whatever you want. And yeah, when you're asking about mental issues, Kevin Lee round 1, surely. Well, if Kevin Lee doesn't wanna, entertain the crowd, he probably wins in the first round. And about mental issues, Just if you talk about it, it's not gonna be hard. I mean, you just accept it, and that's a part of you. That's how doctor told me. So I'm trying to listen to my doctor, and I'm feeling better when I'm talking. Just got done a massive session with Bucky. He's a future UFC champ for sure. Yeah, awesome. I've been in Achille, man. You probably seen my Instagram story. I'm learning counter wrestling. Believe me, that is the hardest thing I've ever learned in my whole life. And that guy is knowledgeable. Also, who is Bucky fighting next? Is it gonna be Niglevich or somebody else? You can see it in my story that I posted. I've been in the best place in the world to learn, and yeah, that coach is a former wrestler. So if there is one thing he knows, that's wrestling. And in the first place, I didn't know that wrestling is that hard. Wrestling, control, these are the hardest parts of MMA. So hard, man. It's so damn fucking hard. Bojan Niglevich, most likely. Um, I'm not hater, but I have something to tell you about that, but I'm not gonna tell it in the public chat. So when I finish the stream, just I'm gonna put you a message. I'm gonna send you one message when I finish that stream. Why I think Drew wins easily. Why I think that's gonna be a walk in the park. So in general, also about the upcoming UFC, it's very risky betting Kevin Lee because he might throw an illegal strike on Diego like Michel Pereira did. Exactly. That's if you ask me which would be the most confident picks. I wouldn't put Kevin Lee on the list of the most confident picks for the same reason serial killer wrote. You see, serial killer wrote why that could be the problem. Now, do you think Jolene Turner can be champ? It's very hard to answer that question right now because I really need to see him against top 7, top 10 guy, top 5 maybe. Does he have a championship potential? Yes. Can he be a champion? Put him in the cage with a guy from top 7, top 8, top 10, and I'm gonna answer that question. I do think the guy has a potential. I do think that the guy destroys everybody in the way, just like Terence McKinney does. Let's see this weekend whether Terence McKinney is going to destroy another opponent. For example, if Terence McKinney destroys Drew Dober, then I'm giving him good chances also. So I think it's just too early for that question. But does Jalen has championship potential? Yes. Yes, Diego will quit with eye poke or something else. Exactly. That's why it's not safe to bet Kevin Lee. Absolutely, because he quitted. He forfeited that fight against Diego, against Michel Pereira. I think after that illegal strike, he refused to continue. So it's truly, it's true. It's true. It's very much true. So it's very, very much true that he might quit. So it is. Actually, it's not risky bet. It's super risky bet. I would stay away from it if you ask me. I would really much stay away from those types of bets. I think Turner beats RDA. I actually think Turner is a tough opponent for RDA, especially because of his ability to slip out. Of wrestling transitions, and because of his very good chain wrestling defense. His defensive chain wrestling is surprisingly good alongside with his striking. If you're asking about Turner's version against Malarkey, I've seen that massive when I rewatched. I've seen those massive improvements in chain wrestling. But in defensive chain wrestling, every time Malarkey was trying to drag the fight to the ground or crush the opponent's posture, we've seen great counters on the end of Jolene Turner, which was kind of surprising for me. Very much surprising. So I'm trying to pinpoint to some very, very important aspects of the game when it comes to Joey Turner. He progresses every single day. That guy progresses, showcases new skills, and his skills are getting better and better. So with such an elite level of skills, he might climb to the top of the division pretty much quickly. And yes, he can climb to the top of the division pretty much quickly. He is also a long fighter, which is a nightmare for many people in his division. You don't like to fight with long guys. That's something that intrigues. And yes, that's what I'm trying to pinpoint to. Long fighters are always a nightmare, especially for example, for smaller guys, if they are unable to shorten the distance. So when they are unable to shorten the distance, that's a big problem for them. And also, it could be Sergey Spivak is one of the best heavyweight takedowns I've ever seen. I agree with that. I agree that Sergey Spivak's takedown offense is pretty much on point. And you know what makes Sergey Spivak's takedown so effective? It's the fact that he knows to feel you. He feels when you're off balance. I don't know how to explain it in the American. He knows to feel the moment when you're off balance. So exactly when you raise your foot off the bottom or when your body is off the balance, Sergey Spivak has a feeling. You know, it's not just training, it's a feeling. It's the moment when he feels that he should shoot in, that he should go for a takedown. McKinney too small for lightweight glory. We will see. I picked McKinney, but I'm not giving him the greatest chances. My initial pick is fight not going the distance. Threw 280-pound Hardy like a child. That is true, but he threw Hardy because of technique. Spivak is not super strong guy. Spivak is a guy who feels your technique and who feels your posture. He can feel when you're vulnerable to throws. Because when you throw a person, strength comes at the last spot. The first thing when you throw somebody is, believe it or not, the momentum. It's not technique, it's the momentum. Then comes technique. Then comes the rotation. And then comes strength. So that's the order. You can be the strongest guy in the world. If you have poor technique, you will hardly throw somebody. Yes, judo throw, I agree. But if you're a guy with medium technique and the medium level of strength, you will have good chances. If you're a guy with perfect technique and low level of strength, you will also have good chances to throw somebody. Yes, it was very beautiful technique. True. And you need to connect when you throw. The momentum is very important because if you fail the momentum, if you fail the moment when your opponent is off balance, you're not going to throw him. That's option number one. Option number two, he's going to get back onto his feet in the next second or two. Spivak, in every single fight of his, knew to feel that moment. When you move to the left, to the right, forward, backward, Spivak knows the exact moment when your feet are not in the stable position, when your feet are off balance. How does he feel it? I don't know yet, because I'm still learning to wrestle, but there are many secrets that hardcore wrestlers don't want to reveal. We must watch them. But we must watch every single second. Also did it to Tuivasa, yes. When you watch every single second of their game, you can learn a lot. For example, today I was rewatching Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. That neck crank was a feint. I was telling this the whole match, and people were like, "What are you telling about?" No. When you do that kind of a neck crank, you're just improving your position against the fence, because when the opponents try to slip away out of that position, he is going to finish at cage seated position, which again gives you the advantage because you're in the mount of cage seated position. When you go for that neck crank and your opponent tries to slip out of it, you can follow him up and end up in the mount in a cage seated position. This is modified cage seated mount position. But technically, Colby was doing a wonderful, wonderful job because he was crushing Masvidal's posture all the way. And that is what I'm trying to pinpoint. Technically, Colby was doing some things that are not normal. For example, he was trying to stretch Masvidal when he was holding like this. He was trying to stretch. He was trying to lean towards the cage. That is not normal. But imagine another thing. When you got this leg on the ground, Colby was trying to trap it. Masvidal didn't put his hand like this to prevent the trapping. Colby was constantly pushing that leg on the inside. And that's one of the reasons why Masvidal was having so many problems getting back to his feet. And this neck crank all the time was fake. It was just a good way to control him because Masvidal was like this, and Colby kind of knew that he was not gonna finish him. I mean, he knew that. And I understand those things because I'm going to a very, very good dojo. And the person who is showing me those things is extremely skillful in those stuff. He watches it all day long. And when you crack those moves, it's very easy to create a defensive strategy. So yeah, thank you, Otis. Thank you, Otis. It is very easy. Yes, very good explanation. For example, when your leg is like this and somebody inserts his leg here, you're in a big problem to get up. All you have to do is this: just block. You see, just block his leg. Put your elbow here, or put your elbow here, even better. If you put here, it's 50-50. If you put elbow like this, there's no way he's going to insert his leg. Or if he tries to insert, you can do this and try to defend. So MMA is such a difficult sport, brutally difficult sport. Listen, I consider myself a very good striker. But when I started learning wrestling, I realized that I know nothing about wrestling despite I trained BJJ, because it's totally different. It's a totally different philosophy. Like in BJJ, if you do something like that, people would think that you're not normal. And in MMA wrestling, if you don't know to do that, especially if you don't know to do that against the fence, you're fucked up. Believe me, he's going to crush your posture all day long. You won't be able to get back on your feet. So many sports in one, yeah. And unfortunately, wrestling is extremely important for top offense, for top control, for control on the top. For bottom control, wrestling matters, but according to my mind, BJJ is more important because I'm not that bad. I'm not that bad in bottom control. I'm like so in bottom control, but in top control, I'm brutally bad. Magomed is the perfect fighter in my opinion. Yes, he is good everywhere. Yes, he is good everywhere. So I am trying to pinpoint that there are some things where if you don't close the situation properly, you're in a very, very big problem. And if you let your opponent to get a hold of the free leg, or if you set his free leg free, he will be able to get back on his feet very quickly, because the leg that is pressed against the cage is additionally trapped by the cage. And his free leg, the leg that is not against the cage, must be controlled by any means necessary, or it's a problem. I mean, you're giving him too much space, you're giving him too much room, and there are many complicated situations in MMA, and wrestling is so complicated because you can't see everything. For example, today I was literally standing 1 hour, 2 meters out of the fighters who were doing cage controls, cage moves, and I said to myself, man, you literally know nothing about this, because all kinds of defenses, all kinds of workouts. You need to see how it works, how it actually fits. That's what you need to see. And I've seen that wrestling is extremely complicated. That MMA wrestling is one of the most complicated things I've seen in my life. Diego Sanchez is the mountain. Hey Charles, how are you, man? Oh, well, Diego deserves a lot of respect, man. 40 years of age and still fighting. Has been a member of UFC since 2004. After that victory I think he won TUF 1, man. Yeah, TUF 1 winner. What a vet. What a vet, man. Great veteran. But I mean, MMA is such a difficult sport. One of the most difficult sports I've ever seen is MMA. I mean, in other sports, you do have some good, bad things. But in MMA, if you don't know one aspect of the game, you're in a problem. You're pretty much fucked up. If you don't know one aspect of the game, you can lose the fight. Which is like, no matter how hard you train, you will never be able to learn everything, because in MMA, things always change. I'm gonna tell you some things. If you've checked my TikTok or Instagram, those moves to the side, those moves to the back, and those fainting strikes, it didn't exist. These are new techniques. What do you think of Eagle FC? They just signed Hector Lombard and Thiago Silva, former UFC fighters. Yeah, so many variables. Well, I think Eagle FC is rising. Is it going to be the best promotion one day? Top 5, maybe. They are inking good names. But I don't know what to think about the future, I think Khabib is doing a good job with promoting it, and now I don't know how far he can go. It's becoming very, very much popular. 13 fights on this card, which is pretty much okay. Inking former UFC fighters is good for popularity. Giving young guns a chance to prove is also good for popularity. I think it might grow in popularity. That's my opinion. But is it going to be better or worse? Let's see in the days, months, years to come. I think they are on the right track. Hello, Ginge. I'm live for 7 more minutes, just to know. Darce choke is my favorite technique, like Tony. Use the wrestling and jiu-jitsu combination. You see, I was always having problems with the Darce choke because my legs are longer, but I was unable to wrap that leg around the neck and around here. I was so much having a hard time with Darce choke. But for example, I can do Anaconda so easily. But Darce is not a technique I like. I hope Eagle FC comes to Atlantic City. Maybe one day. I don't know what they plan to do, but it seems they are doing a good job for now, and we will see. I don't like to give predictions like 1 year ahead, etc., because many things can change. For example, Bellator was very poor promotion at the beginning, and now they are right behind the UFC. Cage Warriors didn't have a bright future. KSW didn't have a bright future, and now they are pretty much high-ranked promotions. So Eagle FC is rising promotion, but how far can they go? That's $1 million question. And for me, that's $1 million question, really. And I'm not sure whether I'm able to answer it at the moment. But it's good to serve as a bridge between Dagestani fighters and the rest of the world. it's a good way to. It's a good way for other guys to learn more about Dagestani wrestling and maybe to steal some moves, maybe to analyze some fights. Would you ever commentate MMA regional promotions? What do you mean by regional promotions? I'm not sure that I understand that question. Can you please? Sorry, but sorry, English is not my native language. I'm not sure that MMA. What does that regional mean? Regional. MMA promotion in my city. Yes, I would. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, I would, but in my state, the problem is if you know to do such things, they are going to do everything to stop you. But yes, I would accept that call. If the money is right, I would accept it. Absolutely, I would accept it. So, what round will Kevin Lee KO Diego? Round one. Yes, I would do commentary, but in my state, if they see that you know something about commentary, they will do everything to push you away from that position because they hate people who know. They like people who know nothing and league promotions balls, if you know what I mean. Poor Diego Sanchez. I hope Kevin Lee submits him without critical damage. I think I'm gonna agree with Ginge. He's gonna lose round one. Sorry, guys. Yes, I would do commentate. I would do commentary, absolutely. Why not? I mean, I'm learning from the best, and believe me, Western world and my state are two totally different worlds. Totally different worlds. Like, this is like sky and earth. Yes, your breakdown techniques very well. Well, I'm trying, man. I'm really much trying. I'm very much experienced. I'm learning from people who know a lot, and I like to watch the best fighters in the world. So, majority of techniques I learned on my own. Wrestling, Itsuko is showing me wrestling, the MMA coach of Achille, the head MMA coach of Achille, but he's a master at wrestling. Wrestling is his specialty. He knows striking too. I'm not saying he doesn't know. He knows, but he's a master of wrestling, and he's always saying, wrestling is everything I've ever learned, everything I've ever knew. So it is pretty much visible that the guy knows, and he developed so many great offensive techniques. He's always coming out with new explanations. This is the first time Irvin Rivera has fought since his murder trial. I wonder how that will affect his skills. Actually, my comment to this is if he's taking his meds on a regular basis, he might fight normally. So I believe he is going to take those meds, and that's one and only reason why I picked him for the victory. Am I sure? Hell no. Hell no. I don't know whether it's going to affect his skills or not. I'm just hoping that he's drinking medicines on a regular basis. The problems with those meds is the fact that they are going to slow him down. But maybe if he's slow, maybe he is going to think wiser. So just try to make a connection between my words. I'm telling that because the meds I'm taking are taken to prevent hallucinations, fears, tremors, shaking, and they're pretty much slowing me down. And when you're having such phases in your lives, in 80% of cases, the meds that are given to you are slowing you down, but they let you think way more normal. So it affects the area of your brain that is related to cognitive thinking. That's what doctor told me. So if he takes meds on a regular basis, he's going to be way more patient during the fight, which might affect the ability to fight until the last dying breath in a technical manner. That's how I see it. Again, that doesn't have to mean I'm right, but I know how meds affect majority of people who take them and who are dealing those kinds of problems. That is some interesting insight. Well, he's probably going to be more calm, more relaxed, and more patient during the fight. But again, we'll see. Do you think Diego is going to try to force Fields again like he did while he was with Fabio? You can expect everything from Diego, man. Listen, if I would give prediction for Diego, it would be insane because Diego is one of the most unpredictable people I've ever seen on this roster. So I really don't know what to say to that question. Yes, and he will win a DQ. Well, there is a chance. There is a chance, guys. That's why I'm saying it's not safe to bet on Kevin Lee because Diego could, he could pull out. He could retire. Maybe it's safer to bet Ray Borg. Maybe it's safer to bet Henderson Ferreira. Maybe it's safer to bet Archie Colgan. Yeah, Colgan, Henderson, Ferreira. Borg. Maybe it's safer to bet them. That's what I would say. Now I must go. I must go to take a sleep, and tomorrow I'm having a lot of obligations. Need to finish some work. It's gonna take a lot of time from me. So have a great day, everyone. Goodbye, and I hope to catch you tomorrow. I will be breaking down Bellator. I know RSFC is airing tomorrow, but I'm not going to cover it. I must cover Bellator. I have a lot of work to do. Must cover Bellator predictions. I promised to my fans. Maybe LFA, even maybe BKFC. So many things to cover. So night to everyone and have a great day. Thank you so much for staying loyal with me. You're the best. You rock, guys.